quality assurance. So we've got a variety of different tools that MST developed in order for the quality assurance. There's initial training, and then on the fly, when families are being worked with, they're getting a call monthly from someone who gives a therapist adherence measure, which rates how well the clinician is following those 9 principles. The information is given back for the supervisor and the consultant. The therapists are doing a supervisory adherence measure every 2 months, which is rating how well the supervisor is doing providing supervision. There's a consultant adherence measure, which is being rolled out next year, which is rating how well the consultant is giving feedback to the supervisor of the team. And there's research to support that high adherence leads to better outcomes. So there's ongoing training, there's ongoing boosters. Every 3 months, teams are trained. I was just in Michigan doing a 2-day training to make sure that they're, not that I learned MST and I'm qualified, but MST is something that you need to always learn. There's so many facets to it. There's an endless amount of information and re-education and knowledge building in order to work more effectively. Why is it successful? Well, we're working with the known cause of delinquency, the family relations, the peer relations, school performance. Treatment is family driven and it's in the natural environment. Providers are held accountable for outcomes. Staff are well trained and well supported. Again, 20 hours as a supervisor to work with 2 to 4 clinicians is a lot of time. This can be a very expensive program. It is the very expensive program, but it also can be very cost effective when you look at the cost of having those kids locked up for almost 1,400 days. And significant energy is devoted to developing those supportive interagency relations. Because MST to be effective isn't just with the family, but it's the family, the court system, the child welfare, etc. Questions? Yes.
Earlier you mentioned that MST is part of the family treatment, including functional family therapy and multi-generation treatment for foster care and a couple others. You said that they were all part of blueprints or something.
Blueprints for Violence Prevention, which is out of the University of Colorado at Boulder. They are, it's one of the leaders. I mean, there's numerous places that kind of rate and talk about what the evidence is support program. The Blueprints is an excellent website where you can put in what are the needs for the family, what am I looking for, what's the age range, and you can kind of click some boxes and they'll tell you here are the programs that research supports and gives you descriptions of those various programs. Yes?
I have a question about referrals.
Yep.
Practically speaking,
Yep.
how would one refer to this program? But then also, what percentage of the referrals that the MST program receives are actually deemed not a good fit due to not being able to have that, that buy-in from the family?
And so 2 really good questions. Here in King County, and again, every program that's running has its own designation. Here in King County Courts is the funder for the service, and referrals are only taken from the probation department. So the youth in King County has to be, they have their own risk screening tool that they use, and those kids that are deemed high are referred to MST.
They're automatically referred to MST?
They should be. That's what they tell us, yes. They should be referred to MST or this other model, Family Integrated Transitions, which is an adaptation of MST. How many of the families participate? A good number of them, if the clinician is able to get their foot in the door and help them see how it's value added. There's some families that won't return a phone call, won't show up to a meeting. Clinicians are able to go out to the home, and some clinicians have been deemed stalkers because I had a clinician waiting 6 in the morning waiting for the parents to go to work and just happened to be there. So there's a lot of persistence and due diligence given to try and engage families, help them see, how we can be value added.
But so once that process is rolling and the initial engagement has happened, are there cases where the therapist will kind of make an evaluation and say, you know what, I'm not sure that all the pieces are in place for this to actually be effective?
Absolutely. There are some of those times where we get to the point of diminishing returns that the family might have said yes, and in reality they weren't as interested. The youth behavior might have escalated, things might have changed in the family constellation, that a parent is ill, grandparents, so they don't have the time available. What we would then do is try and see is there another committed caregiver. It doesn't have to be the parent to do MST. We've done MST with next door neighbor who stepped up, the girlfriend's mom who's willing to take that on. Could be an older brother, a 19-year-old brother that was dealing with a 17-year-old brother. There are challenges, but we really need someone in the ecology that's willing to step up for us to work.
This is kind of a clarifying question. Like you said that you have one therapist that you don't really want to refer out, such as like chemical dependencies,
Correct.
substance abuse treatment. So is that therapist qualified to do the CBD counseling, or do you have somebody on the team?
A lot of the teams, not necessarily the specifics, usually the teams are made up of a variety of strengths, so that there's going to usually be on the team someone who is skilled or qualified as a CBT. But what we would also look at is we want to understand that chemical dependency issue, the substance use from a functional analysis understanding. So that we want to understand what are the things ecologically which allow this youth to use. So we're going to address those factors such as access, availability, lack of consequences in order to make those changes. There are times when we will work where the court has said if the youth needs to participate or the family wants the youth to attend, and we'll work with it. It's not our first option. That there's a great deal of training and evidence to support MST as an effective substance abuse treatment. NIDA supports it, SAMHSA, etc. Any hard questions?
Hard questions?
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Do you have any very short recommendations for those of us that may not be MST therapists who don't have the luxury of having the interventions that take place several times over the course of a few months, that we might be those inpatient counselors or those outpatient once a week for an hour people? Because this is, I'm all for evidence-based treatment,
Right.
but
The reality is, as far as those interventions, again, the interventions are going to be so unique for that particular youth and that family based on their strengths. So MST does not come in with a cookbook of, here's your intervention, now I have a hammer, everything's a nail, because what that does is it limits the ability to understand what's unique about that family and what's going to make a difference for the Smiths compared to the Jones compared to the Rodriguez's. So you have the same behavior, truancy, and the reason for that truant behavior is going to be so different from family to family to family. So there, unfortunately, is not any great, quick and easy ideas. What I would recommend is that you do try and better understand, rather than jump to an intervention, understand how is this behavior functional for this youth or this family, and what am I doing in order to make a change that not only that I think is necessary, but the family or the youth agrees. Because if you're the catalyst for change and they don't buy into it, it's going to work as long as you're there pushing it. Yes.
I'm wondering about the practicality of having 24/7 availability for the therapist. What kind of backup system do MST teams have in place for the times when the therapist flat out isn't available? Because you don't want to develop a trust with the family, say, I'm going to be there 24/7, because that's a promise you can't keep. Those therapists have lives too. So
Absolutely.
what do you do to create that sense of trust with whoever's the backup?
And a lot of that has to do with each and every team, so there is no one absolute way of doing it. Most teams tend to rotate the on-call, so weekends, evenings, after a certain time, it rotates, so someone's on call for a week at a time and it rotates out. Most of the time, the supervisor is the backup, so if the clinic's not available, the supervisor will get called, give them that feedback. A variety of agencies have their own ways of working with it. They focus on making sure that clinicians don't burn out. We do that 24/7, and I did an MSD 4 years in the field. It can get a little overwhelming at times, but having that closeness support is really what it takes. And what we do find is that the reality is those 24/7 availability, there should not be a lot of these 2 a.m. calls if you're doing the work well, because you should be able to anticipate what are the crises that occur, or what are the problems that what are the risk factors, what are my challenges, how do I prepare the family ahead of time. So if I get a phone call, my first goal is to deal with that problem, and as soon as things have calmed down, how do I help the family develop a plan so that that problem occurs? They don't need to call me, they've already got a plan. And if we're doing it well, we can generalize. So we find for most of the time, families are not calling with frequency, and if they do, usually MST is not being done well.